Yo, what is up, my dudes? I'm back with another video. This one's gonna be about another fanfic that I made, at least chapter 1 of a fanfic series that is a huge reference to Kirby Planet Robobot, which I titled a Mechanized World, which I'll be going into chapter 1 about that, and stuff. So chapter 1 obviously starts with DEM actually coming onto into the Data Lab world, and actually, excuse me, the DEM actual building actually coming on to the city of Data Live and actually mechanizing it or connecting it to that part of the city, and sprouting these like drill things to mechanize the whole city or the whole world at that point. And Nibelcol actually comes into play later, but once these spirits actually see Nibelcol and her clones actually come to the planet, everyone actually starts to realize that this is not really a game and actually start to attack. Which, first one to attack after playing checkers was Origami and Toka, where Toka actually tries to slash the, I think she tries to go towards DEM, by slashing it, but this is when DEM's actually cannons from the building start to fire and actually defeat Toka, and then Origami tries to use Metatron on the building, and she is also quickly defeated. And seeing all of this, Kurumi charges forward and unfortunately tries to attack as well. She's also taken down by DEM's cannons and actually plays a bit of a role later. But eventually Shido actually wakes up, noticing the whole world is mechanized, similar to the opening of Kirby Planet Robobot. I actually did the full opening of this because that is what it was really inspired on originally. But then I'm like, I'll just make this into a full series. So Shido wakes up, seeing it's fully mechanized, and starts to go on this adventure to save the whole world, basically, from whoever's doing this. And eventually, this black dark mist shows up to actually mechanize the whole city. And Shido falls unconscious and then wakes up later to the world fully mechanized, like mechanized buildings, walls, floors, just everything's mechanized at that point. And so Shido has to actually hide from Nibelcol and her clones because they are actually patrolling almost every single-ish area of the place. So it's basically a run and actually occasionally hide scenario, basically. Seeing Shido actually try to help everyone, Kurumi eventually is on a high-rise building, but there is something really wrong with her. She's completely mechanized. Her clock eye is actually an actual clock, actually, which is a huge reference to my favorite creepypasta, Clockwork, originally, because she's psycho as well, she has an actual clock eye like Kurumi, which is ironically one of my favorite creepypastas. I think it's ironic that she's one of my favorite creepypasta characters, and Kurumi is one of my favorite anime characters. It's really ironic that they're both like that. That they're both similar in that sense. So Kurumi is actually mechanized, and even her dress has little mechanized like armor on it as well. I really went into like detail on how she looked and stuff. Nibelcol shows up, long story short, actually asks Mecha Kurumi, which is what I gave her actual new name, to actually stop Shido. She, of course, still isn't really fully mechanized yet, so she is like, well, I'm not really going to do this. You stop Shido. And of course, returning to Westcott's lair, Westcott is not pleased with Mecha Kurumi. He actually starts to actually choke her and actually lifts her up off the ground with his power and just starts choking her. It's ridiculous. He has insane powers and everything. So I mean, he just effortlessly does this, and yeah. But I mean, this is where it really gets really interesting for me, because Shido goes through the world, eventually getting to a spacious area where, get this, he has to fight Nibelcol in a boss fight. In this boss fight is... One sec, guys. Like I was saying before, Shido has to fight in the Nibelcol in a boss fight, and this actually has a few Kirby and the Forgotten Land references, with the actual health bar actually appearing, and the actual fighting being like Kirby and the Forgotten Land. It's all in 3D, and essentially Shido has to fight Nibelcol in this style, and Nibelcol actually has some pretty cool attacks. Actually, she can use Beelzebub to actually shoot lasers at Shido and stuff, and she actually uses her actual clones to actually to try to deal damage to Shido, but he has to actually jump over them, signaling eventually he has to deal enough damage to actually make this Nibelcol actually roar, which is another huge Kirby reference when they go into the second phase. To have her go into the second phase of the battle, and this is where her attacks really get really cool, because the first attack, one of my friends actually made in Kirby in the Forgotten Land himself. And the second that I saw this attack, I'm thinking, dude, this is just like Nibelcol's attack from my Mechanized World fanfic, which I thought was a really cool reference, that even he had actually made the attack in a Forgotten Land style. I did as well. But with this fanfic, eventually Nibelcol's actually clones surround Shido in a circle. And they each actually take turns trying to blast him in a rotation attack, which is a humongous reference to the rotation attacks from Undertale. Get this, Undertale. I actually gave her an Undertale attack, which is arguably one of my favorite attacks. And one of the attacks was her actually using Star beams to actually shoot at Shido as well, which eventually, dealing enough damage, he actually goes into the final phase, where he actually has a quick timed reference attack, which is similar to Kirby as well. At least in some of the battles. Where eventually doing the quick time attack, he actually deals in does it, slashes Nibelcol's sword in half, and actually deals enough damage to where he actually kills her. Which, yeah, that is basically one of my favorite parts of the fanfic, because it was just super fun to actually do that boss fight, which, luckily for you guys, each and every chapter of this fanfic has a boss fight. So stay tuned for a lot more of those, because I actually made completely original boss fights with the Dead Alive characters. So, eventually beating the Nibelcol, Shido actually moves on to actually destroy this drill to actually move on to the next world. Which, unfortunately, I'm running out of time, so I gotta make this quick. I hope you enjoyed. And, stay tuned for probably chapter 2. Probably tomorrow, I guess, guys. We'll see if I feel like it. But until next time, peace out.